class 4. Let us start with the second chapter of your Sunshine book. The name of the chapter is Clever Betty. So this chapter seems to be clever chapter. The chapter for clever students. See how to become clever. Clever ऐसे नहीं कि वैसी चालाक, but how to be clever and wise. Right? This is a story about Clever Betty. It's a story about a lady whose name was Betty, and she was very clever. And she was a poor farmer's wife, and she makes life better for her family just by using her intelligence. Means she was very intelligent. Now here we'll see that how she fetches a sumptuous meal, good meal for her family, and some farming skills for her husband by just using her clever ideas. Right? Here we have 4 characters. One is John, second one is Betty, third is Baron, and fourth is Jack. Betty and John, they are husband and wife. Baron is the king of the village, and Jack is the friend of John. Right? Narrator 1 is John. Right? Narrator means who is writing it. So narrator 1 is John, and John is saying there was a time in this country when most people made their living by farming. Some farmers did well, some barely scratched out a living. John बता रहा है कि in this country there was a time, कोई time होता था when people they earn money only by farming. सिर्फ farming करके पैसा कमाते थे. कुछ farmers they did well and some only scratched out their living, means सिर्फ hand to mouth होते थे, थोड़ा सा ही money earn कर पाते थे. Again John says, John कहता है, I was one of the farmers who had a hard time feeding his family. Means वो बोला कि I was a poor farmer. मैं ऐसे farmers में था जिसमें कि I used to work hard but could not earn too much. अच्छा नहीं earn कर पाता था. My name is John Carver. It has been many years since we lived, but my friends and I would like to tell you a story. वो बोलता है कि my name is John Carver. बहुत साल हो गए जब से हम काम कर रहे हैं, but मैं और मेरे friends मिलकर आपको एक story सुनाएंगे. Children, listen to the story told by the person himself. Narrator 2. Who is narrator 2? Narrator 2 is his wife, whose name is Betty. Now Betty says, John's farm was quite small, and though he toiled in the fields every day, his crops were always brown and scrawny. Now his wife, Betty, is telling कि John के पास छोटा सा farm होता था. Farm बहुत छोटा सा था और सारा दिन वो hard work करता था. Toiled means hard work करता था. Still उसकी जो crops थी वो अच्छी नहीं थी. They were brown and scrawny. Scrawny means very thin. मतलब हल्की सी, ज़्यादा crop नहीं होती थी, बहुत हल्की सी होती थी कि we could not earn too much. Can you think of a reason? आप सोच सकते हो कि एक बंदा hard work भी कर रहा है और फिर भी उसकी जो crops हैं वो brown and scrawny क्यों है? Means अच्छी green crops क्यों नहीं होती हैं? अच्छी crop क्यों नहीं हो पाती है? What is the reason? Now narrator 3 is, who is narrator 3? Narrator 3 is Baron. It just so happened that John was married to Betty, and Betty was a mighty clever lady. Baron जो king है वो खुद बता रहा है कि ऐसा हुआ कि John जो था वो उसकी Betty से शादी हो गई, and Betty was a clever lady. बहुत clever lady थी. अब Betty कहती है, Betty says, my husband was not a very good farmer, but he loved his work. कि he was not a good farmer, but he loved his work. काम करना उसको बहुत अच्छा लगता था. So, coming on to the next page. So I decided that as long as he was happy, I would make sure we had enough to eat. So Betty बोलती कि I decided, मैंने decide किया कि जब तक हम लोग happy हैं, जब तक वो खुश हैं, तब तक हम लोग अच्छा खाएंगे. Narrator 4, Jack. Now he says, one winter day, When the wind blew very cold and snow drifted very high, Betty sent John to the chicken coop to fetch dinner. अब नरेटर 4 जैक बोलता है कि एक बार बहुत सर्दी थी, बहुत शाम को बहुत सर्दी थी. विंड वॉज ब्लोइंग वेरी कोल्ड एंड स्नो वॉज फॉलिंग वेरी हाई. बेटी ने जॉन को चिकन कूप को पर डिनर लाने के लिए भेजा. ले जाओ चिकन लेकर के आओ. जॉन कहता है नाउ, जब वो घर आ जाता है एंड नाउ बोलता है कि दिस इज़ द लास्ट चिकन वी हैव बेटी. I don't know what we will have tomorrow. So roast it with care. जॉन बोलता है कि मैं जब ले आया तो मैंने बोला कि ये लास्ट चिकन है, इसके बाद में मेरे पास पैसे नहीं है कुछ और लाने के लिए, हमें नहीं पता हम कल क्या खाएंगे. सो रोस्ट इट विद केयर, बड़े ध्यान से इसको पकाना. Narrator says, Narrator 1. Who's Narrator 1? That is John only. He says, when the chicken was cooked, Betty set it on the table. बोलता है कि चिकन जब बन गया, बेटी ने उसको टेबल पर लगा दिया. जॉन सेज, अब वो देख करके क्या बोलता है जॉन? जॉन बोलता है, व्हाट अ ग्रैंड चिकन यू हैव प्रिपेयर्ड. इट लुक्स सो ब्राउन एंड क्रिस्पी एंड इट स्मेल्स डिलीशियस. मीन्स जब टेबल पर लग जाता है, जिन्हें बहुत भूख लगी होती है, वो देखते हैं कि वाओ कितना अच्छा चिकन है एंड इट्स सो ब्राउन एंड क्रिस्पी. वाओ इट स्मेल्स डिलीशियस, कितनी अच्छी खुशबू आ रही है. It is a shame that we do not have even a crust bread to go with it. वो कहते हैं crust of bread to go with it. वो बोलते हैं कि कितनी शर्म की बात है कि हमारे पास इसके साथ खाने को ब्रेड नहीं है, खाली चिकन है. Oh well, we cannot dwell on when we do not have. Let us call in the children and eat. वो कहते हैं अच्छा चलो, अब हम जी नहीं सकते जब तक हमारे पास है नहीं, हम क्या करें, चलो बच्चों को बुलाते हैं खाने के लिए. Now see, what does Betty do? Betty बोलती है, Betty says, do not call the children. I am going to take this chicken to the baron who lives in that magnificent house on the hill. वो कहती है, हाँ बच्चों को मत बुलाना, मैं ये चिकन लेकर के बैरन के पास जा रही हूँ जो हाउस पे रहता है, जो हिल की टॉप पर रहता है, सुंदर से हाउस में जो रहता है. John says, I don't understand you at all, Betty. Why do you want to give away the last morsel of food? Betty says, never you mind. I have an idea. वो बोलती है, वो जॉन बहुत हैरान हो जाता है कि वो खाने क्यों नहीं दे रही है. तो कि तुम हमारा ये लास्ट जो हमारा फूड है इस मंथ का, तुम ये क्यों नहीं हमें खाने दे रही हो, इसको देना क्यों चाहती हो. Betty says, never mind. मेरे पास एक आइडिया है. चलो let's see what idea Betty has. Now Betty says, narrator 2 बताता है, Betty thought that if she gave the chicken to the baron, he might give us something even better in return. अब narrator 2 बता रहा है कि हो सकता है कि अगर वो बैरन को ये दे देगी, हो सकता है उसको कुछ अच्छा रिटर्न में मिल जाए. Narrator 3, तीसरा narrator बोलता है, so she set off for the baron's house. वो बैरन के हाउस की तरफ चल पड़ी. Narrator 4 बोलता है, when she got there, she was shown into the parlor where the baron sat with his wife, 2 sons and 2 daughters. Betty gave the chicken to him. अब क्या होता है कि जब बेटी वहाँ जाती है, उसको पार्लर मीन्स उसका दरबार सा लगा होता है और मेन रूम होता है जहाँ पर उसको ले जाया जाता है. वहाँ पर बैरन he was sitting with his wife, 2 sons and 2 daughters. Means there were 6 members in his family. So Betty goes there. Now Betty says, I hope you will accept this gift, sir. It is all I have to give you, but you are welcome to it. बोलिए कि सर, I hope, मुझे लगता है कि आप मेरे इस गिफ्ट को एक्सेप्ट करोगे, मेरे पास यही है आपको देने के लिए, मैं आपके पास ले आई. Baron, there is nothing we like better than juicy roasted chicken. It smells delicious. I would like you to divide it among us so that each gets a fair share. Baron बोलता है कि इतना जूसी, इतना रोस्टेड, इतना डिलीशियस चिकन से बेटर कुछ हो ही नहीं सकता इस टाइम. तुम प्लीज़ एक काम करो, मेरे सभी फैमिली मेम्बर्स के अंदर इक्वली इसको डिवाइड कर दो ताकि सबके पास इक्वल शेयर आ जाए. Narrator 1 बोलता है, no, he says, Betty picked up the knife and looked around the room. All eyes were upon her. अब बेटी क्या करती है, नाइफ लेती है, सभी आइज उसकी तरफ देख रही हैं, सब लोग उसकी तरफ देख रहे हैं. Now what she does, Betty Let me see, there are 6 of you all together. वो बोलती है okay, आप 6 members हो. Baron says, don't forget yourself, you shall share with us. वो कहता कि तुम लेकर आई हो तो you should also get a share. Dividing one chicken 7 ways so that each person gets satisfied was a task set out for Betty. अब बेटी के लिए क्या काम था? बेटी के लिए काम ये था कि उस चिकन को 7 पार्ट्स में डिवाइड करना था ताकि सबको इक्वल शेयर मिल जाए. This was her task. Now, the Baron made himself comfortable in his favorite chair as Betty looked at the bird. The first thing she did was cut off the tail and give it to the Baron's wife. अब आराम से बैरन बैठ जाता है. पहला काम बेटी क्या करती है कि टेल काट देती है, चिकन की टेल काटती है एंड शी गिव्स इट टू द बैरन्स वाइफ. टेल उसको क्यों दी है? Here, ma'am, you shall have the tail because it is your job to sit in the house and see that it is properly run. बोलती है कि देख मैम, आपको टेल दे रही हूँ क्योंकि आपका काम है घर में बैठना और देखना कि सारा काम ठीक ठाक चल रहा है या नहीं चल रहा है, तो इसलिए आपको मैं टेल देती हूँ, आप टेल खाओ. Narrator's third says, then she pulled off 2 legs of the chicken and handed one to each of the Baron's son. अब क्या करती है? दोनों लेग्स काटती है चिकन के और उसके दोनों बेटों को दे देती है. Why she gives? Now she gives a reason. Because you fine strong boys, I know, love to walk your father's fields every day. It is fitting for you to have the legs. वो बोलती है कि मुझे पता है तुम दोनों अपने पापा की फील्ड्स में वॉक करना बहुत पसंद करते हो and you are strong boys, so you need legs. Wow, that's very good. They were happy. Betty then gave a wing to each of the Baron's daughters. अब दोनों daughters को क्या करती है? एक एक wing दे देती है. You lovely girls get the wings because each of you, I know, love to travel to distant places. बोलती है कि तुम गर्ल्स को मैंने विंग्स इसलिए दिए क्योंकि तुम दोनों को दूर दूर ट्रैवल करना बहुत पसंद है. Finally, Betty cut off the head of the chicken. अब हेड को काटती है and there can be no question that this is the right part for you, sir, because you are the head of the house. And since I am just a poor farmer's wife, I will be happy with the leftovers. अब क्या हुआ कि वो बोलती है कि this head is the right part for you, sir, because you are the head of the house. तुम घर के हेड हो इसलिए तुमको मैं हेड देता हूँ. एंड खुद के लिए क्या बोलती है? आई एम जस्ट अ पुअर फार्मर्स वाइफ. मैं एक पुअर फार्मर की वाइफ हूँ इसलिए जो बचा खुचा है वो मेरे लिए. अब आप सोचो कि चिकन में लेग्स कितनी होंगी और विंग्स कितने होंगे, हेड कितना होगा और टेल कितना होगा और बाकी बीच का पार्ट कितना होगा. ऑब्वियसली जो बीच का पार्ट है दैट इज बिगर देन ऑल दीज अदर पार्ट्स. So Betty is so clever that she said कि ये बचा कुचा मैं ले लेती हूँ. बचा कुचा क्या होता है? सारा गले से लेकर के एब्डोमेन तक, the whole part, the bigger share, she took it herself. Narrator 1 says, of course that meant Betty got most of the chicken. अब सबसे ज़्यादा चिकन किसको मिला? बेटी को. Isn't she clever? Wasn't she clever? Do you agree, children? Say yes, ma'am, although I hear or not. But say, yes, ma'am, she was clever. देखा कितनी clever थी वो. Now, come to the next page. I hope you are enjoying it. Okay. The Baron laughed heartily. Baron इस पे बहुत हंसता है कि कितनी clever है वो. Baron says, bless my soul, you are a clever one, Betty. You are very clever, Betty. I have never enjoyed myself so much. I want you to take this jug of nectar and this loaf of bread also with the chicken. I hope our paths will cross again someday. अब वो बोलता है कि wow, I enjoyed too much. मुझे बहुत अच्छा लगा. You are so clever. अब you take this jug of nectar. अब उसको एक जूस का जग भी दे दिया, फ्लावर्स की जूस का जग भी दे दिया और एक लोफ ऑफ ब्रेड भी दे दी चिकन के साथ में और बोला आई होप आवर पाथ्स विल क्रॉस अगेन समडे. मीन्स इसका मतलब कि हम दोबारा मिलेंगे. Now narrator 4 says, Betty took the food back home. That night, she and her family ate until they were full. सबने पेट भर के खाया उस रात. The next day, now John says, the next day I was in town and told some other farmers what Betty had done. One of those farmers was Jack Green. Jack was a greedy man and always looking for a way to get the best of a deal. अब नेक्स्ट डे उसने क्या किया? जॉन ने पूरे टाउन में बताया, अपने बाकी सब फार्मर्स को बताया अबाउट what Betty did yesterday and how she got a good deal of dinner for everyone. So there was a person whose name was Jack Green, the fourth one. So he was a greedy man. Although he was a friend of John, but he was a greedy man. In all ways, he wanted something to get best out of the deal. Means हमेशा वो अपने फायदे की सोचता है. Narrator 2 says, Jack saw no reason why he couldn't do what Betty had done. So he went home and roasted 5 fat geese. Then he took them to the baron. अब जैक ने क्या किया? जैक ने सोचा मैं भी करता हूँ ऐसे जो बेटी ने किया. तो घर जाता है, 5 फैट गीज लेता है, मोटे मोटे गीज लेता है और उनको रोस्ट करता है, उसको बैरन के पास ले जाता है. Jack says, Here, sir, I would like you to have these 5 fine geese. बैरन को बोलता है कि सर, you take these 5 fine geese. I thank you, farmer. If you don't mind, I would like you to divide the geese between my family and yourself so each of us gets a fair share. सेम टास्क इसको भी दे देता है कि इन 5 फैट गीज को 7 पार्ट्स में डिवाइड करो. Now narrator 3 says, Jack took the knife, but just as he started to make a cut, he stopped and scratched his head. अब क्या होता है कि जैक जो है नाइफ तो ले लेता है, बट जैसे ही वो कट करने की सोचता है, 5 गीज को मैं 7 पार्ट्स में कैसे डिवाइड करूं, सिर खुजलाता है, सोचता है, समझ में नहीं आती है. No, that won't work. Let's see. Maybe it would be better if I cut here. No, that won't work either. मतलब सोचता है कि ऐसे यहाँ से काटूँ, यहाँ से काटूँ, यहाँ से काटूँ, नहीं, ऐसे नहीं होगा, ऐसे नहीं होगा. He keeps on thinking, but he could not come to any conclusion. Narrator 4 says, Jack thought and thought. He stood on one foot and then on other, but he could not think of the way to divide the 5 geese fairly between the 7 people. अब 7 people में he could not divide it. Finally, the baron grew tired of waiting. अब baron जो है वेट कर करके थक गया. Send for Betty. She will know what to do. बोलता है कि चलो बेटी को बुला कर लाओ. When Betty arrived, the baron said, जब बेटी आई तो baron ने बोला कि here's a problem. We have 5 geese to be divided fairly among my wife, my 2 sons, my 2 daughters and you. Can you do it? अब again he said कि divide them among my family and yourself. Why, certainly, sir. Here is a goose for you and your wife. Now you, your wife and the goose are 3. अब वो क्या करती है देखो, एक गूस को वो बैरन और उसकी वाइफ को दे देती है. एक गूस आपको दे दिया, अब आप, आपकी वाइफ और गूस हो गए 3 लोग. फाइन. एंड हियर्स अ गूस फॉर योर डॉटर्स एंड 1 फॉर योर सन्स. अब 1 देती है वो दोनों डॉटर्स को. Now she says, now your daughters and 1 geese, they are also 3. ये भी 3 हो गए. अब एक आप वो दे देती हैं उसके दोनों बेटे को, बोले तुम भी 3 हो गए. Baron and his wife and goose 3. Both daughters and 1 goose 3. Both sons and 1 goose 3. If I take the 2 remaining geese, then I am 3 also. You see, it's really very simple. वो कहती है अब 3 तो उनमें दे दिए, वो कहती है बचे 2, अगर मैं ले लेती हूँ तो मैं भी 3 हो गई. It's really very simple. Again, clap for her. Again, she took the maximum share. Narrator 3. The baron roared with laughter when he stopped. He turned to Jack and said, बैरन बहुत जोर से हंसा और फिर वो जैक के पास जाता है और बोलता है, Don't come back to my house until you are as clever as Betty. And since I don't think that will ever be, I bid you a final farewell. वो बोलता है कि मेरे घर में तब तक मत आना जब तक तुम बेटी जितने क्लेवर नहीं हो जाते. और मुझे पता है कि तुम कभी भी नहीं आओगे, क्योंकि तुम कभी भी उसके जैसे क्लेवर नहीं बन सकते. सो आई बिड यू अ फाइनल फेयरवेल, लास्ट गुड बाय, डोंट शो मी योर फेस अगेन. Narrator 4 says, the Baron was so pleased with Betty, he rewarded her with 3 gold coins and promised to teach John how to be a better farmer so the family would never go hungry again. अब बैरन जो है वो इतना खुश हो जाता है बेटी से कि उसको 3 गोल्ड कॉइन्स रिवॉर्ड में देता है, एंड उसको ये भी प्रॉमिस करता है कि मैं तुम्हारे हस्बैंड को बताऊंगा कि कैसे बेटर फार्मर बनते हैं ताकि आपकी फैमिली कभी भी भूखी ना रहे. John says, the Baron kept his promise and slowly but surely I became a good farmer. बोला कि बैरन ने अपना प्रॉमिस पूरा किया और धीरे धीरे मैं एक अच्छा फार्मर बन गया. My crops grew high and my family grew strong, all because of Betty. So बोले मेरी क्रॉप्स भी अच्छे हुए, मेरी फैमिली भी स्ट्रांग हो गई, and it was all due to my wife Betty. Clever Betty. So hope you enjoyed the story and understood the story. नहीं समझ में आई बेटा, दोबारा सुनना, because the story is indeed a very interesting one. Now let us do the exercise part. Yes, what kind of farmer was John? He was not a very good farmer, but he loved his work. How many members were there in the Baron's family? How many members were there? 6. Okay, take the correct answer. What did Betty get in return for the chicken she gave to the Baron? So what did she get back? She got back nectar and bread. Now coming on to the next page. What did Jack roast for the Baron's family? So 5 fat geese. Why did the Baron say goodbye to Jack? क्यों कहा उसने goodbye? Because Baron knew that Jack would never be as clever as Betty. उसके जैसा कभी नहीं बन सकता. Now, true and false. John loved farming. Yes, true. Betty was full of cunning ideas to fool people. Cunning ideas तो नहीं होते थे, अच्छे ideas होते थे, wise ideas होते थे. ठीक है? John was a hardworking and satisfied farmer. False. Jack Green was not as clever as Betty. True. The Baron asked John to work in his fields to learn the skills of farming. No, this is actually false. It has been written true, but this is false. Right. Okay, now coming on to the next part, that is reference to context. If I take the 2 remaining geese, then I am 3. You see, it's really very simple. Who said these words and to whom? Yes, Betty said these words to Baron. In how many geese were there? There were 5 geese. In what context did the speaker say so? क्यों कहा ऐसे? The speaker said so when Jack was not able to divide the 5 geese among 7 members, and then Betty was called to divide them. ठीक है? And जब उसने कहा, and she had divided them amongst the family divided them amongst Baron's family members. Then she said this. Okay. Then write 3 adjectives that describe the speaker. That is, she was clever, intelligent, caring. Okay. Here are the answers. You can note down. Take your time and note down. You can even pause the video and note down the answers. Okay. Now coming on to the next page. Turn to page number 22. Children, in the last term, the first term, we have already done the future continuous tense. How to form it? So, subject plus will be plus ing form of the verb, right? and then object. This is what we did in the last term, so we can do the exercise part here. So Manu will be studying in the evening. It is given that you have to write the future continuous tense of the forms of the verb given in the bracket. Already done. We have already done in last term, so we'll do it quickly. Mother will be doing some work. The king will be giving the wealth to his subjects. We will be going to watch a movie on the weekend. They will be performing at the event. So this is what we have done. And now B part, this you have to do. You have to make the future continuous tense. I go by train. I will be going by train. Rita and Geeta study at night. Rita and Geeta will be studying at night. Students will be writing letters to their parents. Mr. Khanna will be teaching us maths. Renuka will be wearing a new dress. This is the work which you can do. You have to change them into future continuous tense. Now coming on to the next part, that is again given here, and you have to use these group of words and change them into future continuous. Like he attend a meeting, he will be attending a meeting. Similarly, here also you have to do this. Taruna cook food in the kitchen. Taruna will be cooking food in the kitchen. Children play in the park. Children will be playing in the park. Mr. Joseph travel by car. Mr. Joseph will be traveling by car. Children will be playing in the park. Number 5, I will be sleeping at 11 o'clock. Rohan will be going to swimming classes this Sunday. This is how you will be doing this. You may note down the answers, and instead of noting down, do it yourself. That will be better because you have already done this. Now moving on to the next part, that is compound words. Compound words क्या होते हैं बेटा? जब हम दो different words और दोनों के अपने अपने meanings होते हैं. Like suit का अपना meaning है, and if we join it with case from this side, it becomes suitcase. You have to add this. Suitcase. सूट अलग चीज़ है, केस अलग चीज़ है अपने आप में ही, और जब हम इन दोनों को मिलाएंगे तीसरी एक चीज़ बनेगी. दैट बिकम्स अ कंपाउंड वर्ड्स. नाउ ग्रास प्लस हॉपर becomes grasshopper. Neighbor plus hood becomes neighborhood. Earth plus quake becomes earthquake. Home plus work becomes homework. जब दो अलग अलग वर्ड्स अपने आप में भी कंप्लीट होते हैं और उनको हम ज्वाइन कर देते हैं तो एक तीसरा थर्ड अनदर वर्ड बन जाता है. दैट मेक्स योर कंपाउंड वर्ड्स. नाउ एनालॉजी. एनालॉजी मीन्स कंपेयरिंग द थिंग्स. जैसे ब्लैक इज टू वाइट एज हॉट इज टू कोल्ड. देन monkey is to chatter as horse is to neigh. Elephant is to land as fish is to water. Water is to drinking as food is to eating. This is called as analogy. These are the certain tricky questions. Now use these words in the sentences of your own. First use them as nouns and then as verbs. Nouns, you know, person, place, animal or thing. And verbs, you know, the actions. If we take shout, if we take the word shout as a verb, how will you make? See, don't shout in the class. Here shout is the action. Next is swing. Monkeys are swinging from branch to branch. Now this are swinging is the word from as a verb taken as action. Then answer. Answer here is taken as an action. Answer me all the questions. Now I cannot lift this heavy box. Here lift is the word which we have used as a verb. Now we have to use the same words as a noun, taking it as a person, place, animal or thing. See here shout. I have heard a loud shout. ठीक है, यहाँ पर shout को thing बना दिया. I enjoyed the third swing very much. Again, swing has become a noun thing. Rishabh gave the answers quickly. Now here answers again taken as noun. The lift to the 7th floor is out of order. Now again lift has been taken as a thing or the noun. Hope the things are clear to you, and please complete your work simultaneously when we are doing it in the video. So goodbye children. Have a nice day.